Well, this weekend I thought the guys did a good job, especially responding after the doubleheader, losing the back end of that doubleheader. Weather again got us. Barely could practice on Thursday. Confined to the cages and that, but that's kind of been our whole year this year with this kind of weather. And field was pretty wet, so they banged on Friday's game around 5:30, and then we got up the next day. We played our doubleheader. Game 1, we played really well. Game 2, Guillory didn't have his best outing, couldn't find his slider. Wind was blowing out. Knew that the next 2 days were going to be some runs scored in that ballpark. The ball flies out of there, and they got us in the back end of the game. And then, Sunday we came back and got after them. Wyatt did just a great game and dominated his opponent, pitched to both sides of the plate, got that slider over when he needed it. And we were fortunate enough to keep the ball down. I think we gave up 1 home run that game, and we hit a couple. So anything up that day was going to get out of the ballpark. So with 11 strikeouts, it's 11 times that the ball didn't get put in play, which is important when you're playing in a wind-blown field like that. Guys are off today, participating in reading in red, and then back after it, head back to Southeastern. We let that game get away from us. We needed to turn a double play in the 8th. Didn't get that done, and that run did us in. They ended up getting 2 runs that inning, and they did us in. So we're going to head back there for a road game, then return back against Southern, and then practice on Thursday, get ready for UTA. So, our biggest goal right now is to try to be good in the second half. We played 10 in the second half, won 8 out of 10 so far. So we just got to stay the course and keep hanging around, keep fighting, and try to get to the point where, we can keep sending these freshmen out. They're getting better every time they go out, and trying to fight for consistency here in the next couple of weeks. That's our biggest thing, is trying to be consistent in the next couple of weeks. Open up the floor for questions you might have.
Any update on Millhorn?
No, still. It'll be, I'm sure it'll be a little while. That's, again, a tough injury, that groin.
How long has it been since you had 3 freshmen going out there, first 3?
I don't think, I'm going to say never, but I surely probably remember running 3 freshmen out there, because it does your blood pressure. So I'm sure I would remember, but it's been a while, that's for sure.
What makes this game freshman special? It seems as though they are.
Well, I think they picked up the pitching system really good, and I think Daniel Freeman's done a really good job behind the scenes with them. Which is why I wanted to have the opportunity to Coach Harvell, our volunteer coach, went to Coach Diggs at Sam Houston. We decided to bring in a pitching person instead of another hitting person because we knew we were going to be young on the mound. So I think Daniel's done a great job with them. I think Powell and Thurman have done a great job in the fall catching them, because that's who did all the catching in all the inter-squad games. And then I think BT and the older guys' leadership has been very good for them. So I think it's a mixture of things, and I think they had a comfortable environment that's allowed them to grow. We say that all the time, you put a plant in the closet, it doesn't commit suicide, but the environment it got put in kills it, stunts its growth. And so you want these freshmen in a good environment so that they can grow. And they've all also played at high levels. I mean, Gunner played at Barb, and Wyatt played at St. Thomas More, and Moore pitched in Houston, and they've all played competitively. But I think they just picked the system up really good, and I don't think it's one particular thing, but I think 4 or 5 things have really helped them, and we've been able to keep sending them back out there. That's it's kind of how to do it in minor leagues. The shortstop goes to low A or something, he might make 25 errors, but he keeps going back out. I mean, and they get comfortable when they know they're going to keep going back out. And we're fortunate enough to be able to continue to send them back out Wyatt struggled a little bit in McNeese. The game was a little too fast for him, but that's where that's how they get experience. And this time, the game surely wasn't too fast for him. He pitched against a team that had some momentum from the night before. He pitched against a team with the wind blowing dead out, knowing that every fly ball is going to get out of the ballpark, and yet none of that bothered him. And that's a good sign, because these guys are going to get so much experience, man. When they walk through the door next fall and you start talking about the pitching system, they've already got it now.
What's been the difference in the second half? You guys seem to do a good job bouncing back from the loss.
I think trust player. If we could put that guy out there day one, we wouldn't be where we're at right now. He's a difference maker. We couldn't get him on the field with a torn labrum. So now he's on the field, and he's made a big difference in us defensively, offensively. He's a grinder. And I just wish we could have got him on the field opening day.
You said earlier that you weren't sure he was entirely healed from a batting perspective. I mean, the guy's got 9 homers now this year. You think that's?
Well, I mean, I think he's gets better as he goes out. I don't think he's still where he was, and that just means that that's a good thing for us. When he walks back to the door next year, and as we continue to play the second half, but he's as close as he can be right now, and he's continuing to work through it. That labrum's tough it takes a while, man. But again, he's a tough guy. His baseball IQ is through the roof. He's exactly what we like having, and I told you that as soon as we got him out there, we could, it would shore up our defense. It's done that, and so our base running mistakes have been down, and our errors have been down. That's what really was our Achilles heel in the first half, and we're trying to groom some freshman arms. Now, in the second half, they got a lot more experience than they've had since the first half.
Is that power that he showed something that you kind of thought he might have? When
We were worried about him getting drafted last year and not showing up. I mean, he's a good player. You just seen half the man. That guy's good. But he got injured in Alaska, and he came back with a torn labrum. So the guy spent all fall, never saw live pitching, swung down the cages with one hand, fielded ground balls with one hand behind his back all fall. I mean, he put in some time and some work at what he could do. And the season started, and we couldn't get him on the field defensively. But we got him on the field a little bit offensively, but he wasn't as good as we knew he'd get as he'd keep getting healthier. But he's a big difference maker. I like him. He's like I said, he's a grinder. His baseball IQ's through the roof. He knows the game really good, and he comes to play every day. Yeah.
Coach, obviously with Wyatt helping you out now on the weekend, the next few days is going to be important to try to get some work for some guys that you got to look at.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Carter, I think that, we want him to probably go back out. And we threw Stokey 2 innings the other day, another freshman. He came out and threw 2 scoreless innings, looked really good. So he's another freshman that I think is going to be good down the road. Connor Toops, Zombreaker, those guys, Bacon, Lee, Moore. We'll throw all those guys in 2 days, all a little bit, and try to just stay as sharp as we can in the middle of the week for the weekend. And now that we got Wyatt, we can probably let Eric go longer now. Now that we saw out of Wyatt. And then we want to also try to probably get Connor back out there too. And but we got some other guys that still I think are capable. I think Big Zombreaker can help us. I think Stokey can help us. Sharp didn't throw as good as I thought he would have when we got what you call it out 4-4. We tried to restart the game over. Took it as 0-0. Now bring Sharp out. Let's see if we can go from here. And he walked 3 people uncharacteristically of him. But he's another guy that he's been there for us and will continue to help us. So I like our pitching staff, I really do. I think the bullpen's been good for the most part. I think now the starters are starting to hopefully settle in. And that was big to go down the road against a good team and take 2 out of 3 with 3 freshmen. So we'll throw some people in the next 2 days and just try to keep getting those guys some work and trying to keep them as sharp as we can. Like to see us if we could, you know, we've been able to score more runs on the road than at home. We're a little bit more physical hitting team on the road than at home. You know, I'd like to see us, you know, try to score a little bit more at home. It looks like we swing loose on the road and we have more power. Our ballpark doesn't always play for home runs. It plays more as a pitching ballpark, so I'm sure that's some of it. But if we can continue to do what we're doing right now, Claymont's gotten hot, and we've gotten some more guys in the lineup that are helping out 1 through 9. Not as many holes in the lineup as we had, I think, in the first half.
Is what Mark said on Sunday, is that's going to give him a chance to go out there and be your Sunday starter until
Yeah, we'll leave our rotation the same. I think Guillory will be better this time out. We cut a day off of him in his routine. A lot of times when you do that, sometimes you alter these starter routines. They're big routine people, and each day is modified for them to peak on the day that they're going to throw. So we trimmed a day off of him. So now he'll go back into his regular routine now for this Saturday. So I think he'll throw better this Saturday than he did this weekend.
But with Mark's especially, he showed you
Yeah.
that he's capable of doing that.
Sure.
Sorry.
Sure. No, he had, I mean, Wyatt had Friday night stuff. I mean, he had some good stuff. We knew Wyatt would be good. He showed huge flashes of it coming out of the bullpen where there's a difference between getting a guy out, hoping to get a guy out, and dominating your opponent. He went out and dominated his opponent. I mean, that's the levels you want pitching to get to. That's what the really good ones do. They don't come out here to hope to get you out. I mean, they come out here to dominate you. And he really dominated his opponent, a good hitting team. Were feeling good about themselves from game 2. And they had the wind blowing out. They had a lot of things in their favor for him to go out there as a freshman and literally dominate them. And his command of both sides was really, really good. I mean, he had everything. I mean, up, down, in, out, whatever you called, he hit it. And he did an outstanding job. So if we can get that on Sunday, you know, now that Millie's down, that'll surely help us.
Coach, a lot of times when the wind's blowing, a lot of power pitchers sometimes give up fly balls, so that doesn't always seem to match.
Well, the good thing about him, early in the year when we first started with him, he had the ball up a little bit. And as the season went on, he really got the ball down. And yesterday he did a good job of getting the ball down and then getting it up on purpose. The biggest thing that hurts freshman pitchers or young pitchers is they throw up accidentally. They're not throwing up on purpose. You want to teach them to get down and then throw up on purpose. Because once they're down, they bring the hitter's eyes down. And then now you can go ahead and come up now. But boy, when you pitch up, the hitter's eyes, they're up. And when you come up again, it's nothing good. Because again, hitters don't hit what they want, they hit what they see. That's the nature of a hitter. He's going to hit what he sees. So if you pitch up too much, he sees the bottom of the ball. Believe me, when hitters see the whole ball, they're never going to the top of it. I can guarantee you that. They're going to go after the bottom of the ball every time. So young pitchers get hurt a little bit because they come in throwing up, and that's just not good. He was down. He was down really good. His breaking ball was sharp, and it was down, and his back and forth was really good. His what we call plus and minus, where he would go hard and then soft, double back up again, soft back to hard. I mean, he was good.
And he seems to have the personality where he's not going to worry about too much.
No, he's not scared. I told that to Jay before, or the night before after the post-game interview about the next day. I said, the one thing Wyatt's not going to do is pitch scared. That's all you want. You know, if a guy goes out and he doesn't pitch scared, I can sleep at night. But when one of them goes out there and pitches like Mickey Mouse, I mean, it's hard to sleep, man. It's hard to sleep when a guy gets out there and does that to you. But the one good thing about him, he's going to charge you. He's not going to get scared. That's half the battle.
What's been behind Clemont's recent surge? Is that just kind of getting everyday at bats?
I think so, enough of them, and, you know, getting out there, getting back off, you know, from having a couple tough games, back on the shelf, and back out there again, and then now kind of getting the flow of things. He's been out, he's been back down, he's been out again, and I think now he's gaining more experience. I think that's the whole key to this thing is experience, and he's barreling up balls and counts. And not fouling them off. That's what hurts hitters also at this level, is that the foul ball hitters, the guys that foul balls off, you know, they end up having to swing and breaking balls all the time because they know 2-1-2 counts, they foul balls off. The one thing Clem's been able to do a good job of lately is when he's getting his pitch, he's barreling the ball up, he's not fouling it off.
Johnny, this stage of the season, having this many games back to back to back, does it concern you? Does it make you happy, or one way or the other?
No, I'm good. I think we got to keep playing. I think this team needs to keep playing. I think what they've been able to do a good job of, they've been able to learn a lot through losses and respond. That's half the battle in this business, is the ability to respond from what happens to you. They've been able to do a good job of that. So I just think we need to keep playing and keep getting experience, because I think the more experience we get, you know, the better off we are. The head coach came up to me after the game on Sunday and said, you know, I didn't think that, you know, y'all would recover that fast from looking at what you guys had lost. I mean, coaches understand when you have special teams. They understand, you know, they know on paper what we lost, you know, and they didn't envision us probably coming in there and scored that many runs with having lost, you know, like I said, any given night we had 8 pro guys on the field, and 6 of those guys were hitters in our lineup, and they're gone. And so, you know, Bobby and Troy had mentioned that to our AD. They went to lunch or something after the series and said that, you know, pretty good. They didn't think, you know, because when you're a coach and you lose what you lose all that arrogance, a coach knows what he's getting into. And so we've been very fortunate that they've continued to compete, continue to grow, because again, that second game, that's kind of what sometimes freshmen can do to you, you know, where they get you out of games, because we're not a team that can, you know, give up 10 runs and try to win. There's just no way. And that worried me starting the season, that how many nights would we be in these kind of games with pitching. But the greatest thing about it is these pitchers have done a really good job of keeping the games where we've needed it. I mean, just like in Southeastern, you know, we kept the game down, winnable game. So all we had to do is turn a double play, you know. So that's really the big thing that I've been so proud of them, is not letting games get away from them. We've been in so many games. We haven't been too many that we just, you know, was over, you know, by the 4th or 5th. And most of the games that we were in, we self-inflicted the wound that hurt us. Like that night, that was a self-inflicted wound that cost us that game. It wasn't some freshman or, you know, some inexperience that cost us. So that's one good thing I'm glad of with these guys, because, I mean, I think after the Omaha year, we lost 7 guys to the draft, and I think went 24-24 the next year or something like that. Can be a tough year after you have these special seasons. So I'm real proud of our leadership, and especially the freshman pitchers that have given us chances to win.
I think you know, kind of based off that, you had, going into the weekend, you had almost 50% of your games were decided by 1 or 2 runs.
Sure.
It's kind of a weird experience for your team being involved in 3 kind of lopsided games this weekend.
Yeah, I guess the big thing I thought that would happen is that ball carries there. So hitters like hitting in that field. The ball doesn't always carry in our field. The hitters will tell you that. And I think that's why we score more runs when we get on the road, is because the ballparks that we play in, the ball carries pretty good. And when we took BP on Sunday morning, wow, and the balls were just flying out of there. I didn't know, starting freshman, balls were flying out of the ballpark all over the place. I'm talking about a pop-up was going off the center field wall. We're mishit balls off the wall. And I thought, if I'd have been a bet man, I was worried because not for Wyatt's, but just the weather was going to be conducive for a large scoring game. But the one advantage we had is they the ones who scored all the runs last. So that's Kevin Foot theory, right? So we had the Kevin Foot theory working for us because they the ones who scored all the runs last. So usually when you score a lot of runs, the next day runs are going to be at a premium. And so I just really went down there and told the team after the game, look, we punched them game one, they punched us back game two. Shake this off tomorrow, re-engage in the fight. Just get back in the ring and re-engage in the fight, because with that type of ballpark, no lead is safe. Even in the third game, we were trying to finish them in 7, and a ball left the ballpark and cut it to 13-3. We give up one more run, we're playing 2 more innings, and 2 more innings in that ballpark is unsafe. And so we were very fortunate that Demo came in, finished them off. I didn't want any freshmen to really hit the 100-pitch mark if we don't have to this season, because we're building for the future with these guys, and we're trying to keep them all down. He got to 94, and that was enough for him. So we've been trying to pull under 100, so nobody gets in the triple digits over and over and over again because they have arms.
Any more questions?